I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine visited Cleveland Police Department's real-time crime center on Monday. DeWine voiced his support of law enforcement and said he is, quote, investing in our police an unprecedented amount of money. The Ohio Republican said he is working with the city's mayor to combat violent crime in Cleveland. Rising crime has been a popular GOP talking point as the midterms near. Here's more from the Ohio press briefing.
Everybody else set? Well, good afternoon, everyone. We just had a tour and a briefing of the real-time crime center. This is the first opportunity I've had actually to look at it. It is a force multiplier. It is an example of technology being used to help law enforcement and ultimately to keep people in the community safer. Let me just say also that one of the reasons I wanted to look at is this is something that we would like to see replicated around the state of Ohio, and something that we're going to be working on. Some of our major cities have this. Many of our other cities do not. Some of our mid-level cities actually have real significant crime that is big city crime, and they don't have this type of technology. So it's something we're going to look at from the state level to see what we can do to be of help. Shortly after the mayor was elected, I don't think he had even taken office.
Not yet.
We started talking about a lot of different things in regard to the city. And one of the things that the mayor and I talked about was crime problems that we have in all of our cities, particularly violent crime. That discussion has led to some additional cooperation, additional working together. Ohio is as you know, a local government state. We have close to 1,000 police agencies in the state of Ohio. The role of the state, as I see it, is frankly to try to be value added and to help, not to interfere, not to tell the local jurisdiction how to run their police department or a local mayor, but rather to work with local law enforcement, work with local mayors, local officials to help. And that's what we have been trying to do. The use of technology is extremely valuable. It is, in fact, a force multiplier and enables law enforcement to pinpoint the actions that they take. The Real-Time Crime Center is certainly one example of that. With the support of the state legislature, we were able to set aside money from the last budget to target violent crime. In regard to the Real-Time Crime Center here, we were able to allocate $355,000 specifically for this center. And again, I want to thank Senator Dolan and the other members, Tom Patton and others of the legislature who were able to supply this money. We also, out of that particular bill, set aside $163,000 to the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Office, working with other local law enforcement agencies around the county. Also, out of that same bill was $149,000 for East Cleveland, again to target violent crime. In addition to that, there was $1 million set aside for the Cuyahoga County Crime Lab. These are all very significant. In addition to that money that was set aside out of the general fund, working with the legislature, we have set aside $250 million to go to local law enforcement throughout the state of Ohio. Local law enforcement is now in the position of applying for that money. $175 million of that $250 million goes to targeted violent crime. $75 million of that $250 million goes to police wellness. Police are under tremendous strain. Tough to be a police officer at any time. And so that money has been set aside for the local jurisdiction to come up with programs to help police wellness and help mental health issues and other issues to support police. What is unique, I think, about this $250 million is that we rely on the local jurisdiction to decide how to spend it. They apply, but they design their own specific anti-crime, anti-violent crime program. So Cleveland is in the process of doing this. Other law enforcement agencies in Cuyahoga County are in the process of doing that, and in the future, in the next several months, we will be able to announce specific grants that go for that purpose. I also want to mention something else that came out of discussions that I had with the mayor, and that is the Protect Initiative, a joint effort with Cleveland Police Department and the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Again, when the Highway Patrol comes in, they come in at the request of the local police department. It is the local police department's show, in this case the Cleveland Police Department, but we were there with the Highway Patrol to assist. That program should be looked at as where we are able to surge resources in and coordinate with the local police department, in this case the Cleveland Police Department. We've also done it with Youngstown, and we've done it with several other departments, and we'll continue to be available to do that, to surge in for a 3 or 4 day period with a specific plan, a plan that's been outlined by the local police department. Again, that program was to saturate areas of high crime in Cleveland. It worked very successfully, 43 arrests, 36 guns were confiscated from individuals who were repeat offenders, people who were not allowed to carry a gun because they had already been convicted of a violent crime. So that program, we think, has been very successful. I'm going to turn it now over to the mayor and then to the prosecuting attorney. This has been I've enjoyed working not only with the mayor and the Cleveland Police Department, Prosecutor O'Malley and I have worked together for some time, and look forward to continuing that partnership. This is a nonpartisan effort. I think when you deal with public safety, when you deal with the safety of a community, politics should have absolutely nothing to do with it. And let me just say that in both cases, with the Cleveland Police Department, with the mayor, with the prosecutor, I've enjoyed this relationship and look forward to continuing to do that to help protect the people of Cleveland and the people of the state of Ohio. Mayor, let me just turn it over to you. Thank you. It's great working with you.
Appreciate it. Likewise. First, I want to just thank Governor DeWine and his entire leadership team for all their support to help the city of Cleveland keep our streets safe and secure. The grant that supports our real-time crime center is going to go a long way to make sure we have more technology to fight violent crime and better intelligence, to be more precise, to fight crime where it exists all across our city. The governor mentioned the work that we're doing with the Ohio State Patrol, and this weekend as a prime example of the fruit of that partnership. Through the Operation Wheels Down effort, we were able to get 15 ATVs and dirt bikes off the streets, 15 arrests as well too. And I know through our coordinated traffic enforcement program, we'll be able to get more guns off the street as we prepare for the summer months ahead. And as mayor, it is my number one priority to keep our streets safe and secure. And I will use every resource I can from anybody across the state and across the country to keep Cleveland safe. And we're just so grateful for the partnership we have with the governor and his entire leadership team. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you. I want to echo the words of Mayor Bibb as well. When he came into office, he pledged to allow law enforcement to enforce the laws of the city of Cleveland. And I want to thank him, the mayor, for doing just that. The last 2 weekends, we have seen the Cleveland Police Department working in partnership with the Ohio State Highway Patrol, and through the great working relationship that they both possess, to begin the slow process of stopping the madness that has been occurring on our streets. So I want to thank both of them for getting together, hearing the voices of the city of Cleveland, and saying enough is enough. So again, last weekend we had a search warrant where we got 6 ATVs and a stolen Charger. This weekend we had 15 more arrests, and certainly the people of Cleveland know that their voices have been heard. So I want to thank them on that. I also want to thank the governor also. My office had received a $250,000 violent crime reduction grant specifically to assist us in putting together NIBIN hits throughout the city. And it will go a long way in helping us piece crime. As we know in Cuyahoga County, we have 67 plus suburban communities that all have to try to work together to try to put cases in. Oftentimes we know crime knows no borders. So people go from Brooklyn to Parma, or Solon to Orange, or they cross those lines. This enables people who are going from Cleveland into Garfield. It enables us to put those cases together. So I want to thank the governor for that grant of $250,000, which enables us to use NIBIN leads, put cases together, and lead to more arrests to make Cuyahoga County a safer community. And again, I just want to thank the great working relationship that has occurred both on the state, the county, and the city level to begin the process of making sure everybody within this county feels safe, no matter what community you live in. Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question for Governor and Mayor Bibb. Mayor Bibb, you were just saying that safety on the streets is your #1 priority. There was a 14-year-old girl who was killed in her own house. How is this real-time crime center helping this family?
Well, I'm not going to comment specifically on that matter as it's currently under investigation by the police department. My heart grieves for that family. My heart grieves for any family in this city that has lost a member of their family to gun violence that plagues not just Cleveland, but many big cities across this country. And I will tell you this, our Chief of Police, Chief Drummond, and our Public Safety Director, Chief Howard, are working around the clock to do everything we can to keep our community safe and secure. But again, violent crime is a systemic structural issue. And we are going to do everything we can in Cleveland to make sure we invest in our neighborhoods and put people and neighborhoods first. But again, we are currently working on that investigation. I'm not going to make any further comments right now with that.
Can you comment, though, on how this center can help this family?
Chief Drummond, you want to talk about that?
Sorry, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. And my heart goes out to that family as well. The Real-Time Crime Center is extremely important and valuable in our work in trying to solve crime. What we can do in this particular case, in all cases regarding crime, is our officers are assigned, also our civilians who are assigned to the Real Crime Time Center. They can actually go up on a video, hopefully capture suspects or vehicles potentially involved in that. With that information goes down to our people on the streets, real time, so they can start their investigation. So we're very hopeful that something was captured, whether a vehicle or a suspect was captured with the surveillance videos, not only from the videos or cameras that's up by the city, but also civilians as well. We have the ability and capacity to take that particular information or video and also enhance it and get it, again, to our detectives who are on the road, real time, hitting the streets, trying to get suspects, trying to get witnesses and so forth, so they can hopefully find someone or individuals responsible for this and bring them into custody and hopefully prosecution.
What would you say the rate of ID on suspects is with real-time crime?
I don't have those stats readily available, but that's something we probably can provide.
No, let me just, then we'll go right to you. Every week in this state, we see children who are killed by violence. In the vast majority of cases, they are killed by a repeat violent offender. So when we talk about this center, what can this center do? Probably the most important thing this center can do is to get the violent offenders off the streets before they kill someone else. And this is a very excellent tool. It enhances what police can see, it enhances what police can do, and it enables them to pinpoint what is going on. So when that investigating officer can get better data, better information as he or she is doing the investigation. So the answer to our crime problem is to get violent offenders off our streets. It is a relatively small number of the violent offenders in our society. It's a small number of the criminal element are violent offenders. We have to target them. This center targets them, and with good intelligence, good information, it is a force multiplier and allows police to do their job and do it quicker and do it more accurately.
How effective, excuse me, how effective can this center be when so many of the city's security cameras are so often not working, and very often this center is not staffed?
Well, let me say a couple things. Number one, our city has done a tremendous job in scaling up the amount of cameras we have all across our city. We have a pretty high rate of cameras that are actually working all across the community. And then long term, it's our work and strategy to work with City Council and our leadership in the police department to fully fund our real-time crime center and to make sure that it's working 24/7, 365 days out of the year to keep our community safe and secure. Thank you, Wade. Next question.
But until you get to that point, what about that? That's not going to happen overnight. So we have a period where we still have many cameras down, we still have people not working here.
Our technology teams are doing a really fantastic job to make sure as many cameras are working as possible all across the city. Thank you, Ed.
Let me just add to
Yep.
that. Look, we aspire to be here. We are here. This is a lot better than being here and having nothing. So, you know, the city is moving forward. It's one step at a time, but they are light years ahead of where they were before they had this center. We all, I think, all of us up here have an obligation to try to help the city, to improve, and to get optimum and to have the 24/7, which we all want to see.
Governor, you said just a few moments ago, politics should have nothing to do with safety. Yet, you signed Senate Bill 215, which was opposed by the Patrol Auto Police because folks are now having no training and no license to be able to carry a gun concealed. It seems antithetical to safety if you're going to give more people more guns. We often know that kids find these guns, shoot each other, shoot their siblings, or end up, these guns are being stolen and used in crime. Can you explain why?
Sure. We all, look, we all aren't going to agree on every single issue. But we have been able, in the last 3 years, to do a number of things. One of the things that we have done, for example, to make it a safer community, has to do with outstanding warrants. When I took office, only 10% of the outstanding criminal warrants, many of them for violent offenders, only 10% were being put into a national database. So if someone was in Cleveland and they went to New York, or they went to Pennsylvania, or someone was in Toledo and they went to Michigan, and that police officer in that second state pulled them over, they would have no idea that person was wanted for a violent offense. And if that person went into another state to buy a gun, a criminal, a violent repeat offender, but that was not in the database, then that seller of that gun would have no way of knowing that, and that gun would be sold through no fault of the seller, but because it wasn't in the database. 10%. We're now to 90%. So we are investing in our police in an unprecedented amount of money that this legislature has approved at my request, an unprecedented amount of money that's never been put into police departments before, and we're going to continue to do that. So yes, there's areas where we might disagree, but there are areas where we can come together. And my governing philosophy is this: we can disagree on things. Let's admit we disagree on certain things. But there are many, many things that we can agree on. And I think one of the things that we can certainly agree on is we want to fund our police, we want to give them the technology that they need, we want to give them the tools that they need, we want to support them. We're doing that.
Agree to disagree, Governor, is fine. But looking in the face of a mother or a sibling who has been, had someone killed because a handgun was lying around, is very little consolation. And in terms of that, your answer to me was about database, not about putting more guns in more hands in the city of Cleveland.
Look, before that bill was passed, we had these problems. So for anyone to say that that bill caused all these problems is absurd. The problem is we have too many violent offenders out there. We are resolved to lock them up. Thank you.